So I'd like to introduce one of our friends who's helped us a lot on this journey that we've been on in TPP-free Wellington. Amanda Vickers, she's come down from Kapiti and she's representing New Zealand First here today. Amanda Vickers.
Hello everybody, my name's Amanda Vickers. So I'm the spokesperson for Kapiti TPP Concern out on the Kapiti coast. I'm a member of the Wellington TPP Free group and I'm also the chairperson for the New Zealand First electorate out in Otaki. And as such, I've been asked by Fletcher Tabito to speak on behalf of the party about their stance on the TPP today. Fletcher Tabito sends his apologies, he was unable to be here today. But I'm more than happy to speak because New Zealand First is absolutely opposed to the TPP treaty. We have been from the start, and right from the start, Winston Peters said that we need to stop with the secrecy. He said talk to the people, engage with the people, but most of all, he said make it a good deal. And it is not. The text has been released and we can see that. Independent study, and I stress that word, after independent study is showing it isn't a good deal for New Zealanders. It's hardly a surprise it's not a good deal for New Zealanders because when 600 corporations write it in secret, you've got to wonder whose interests was it ever going to be in? Winston Peters was speaking recently and he said that we have gone down a path of capitalism without a conscience, and that sums up the TPP. You can call it what you want, he said, a neoliberal free market, unbridled capitalism, or an unfettered market, but whatever it is, the TPP entrenches it. This neoliberal experiment has been going on for 30 years and we can see the results now. They're obvious. We have got unprecedented inequality. Unprecedented. Surprise, surprise, some of the independent studies that have done on the TP have shown we're going to get more inequality. Ladies and gentlemen, New Zealand First has been the only political party to write some legislation to remove the ISD's clauses from this agreement, which is one of the worst parts of it. These are a parallel legal system for multinational corporations. And they've obviously, you probably all know, but they've had concern from scholars throughout the world, congressional members and academics. They all speak out against it, and New Zealand First speaks out against it. It undermines our sovereignty, but without the ISDS, the TPP would still be a bad deal for New Zealanders. New Zealand First is not opposed to capitalism, but capitalism needs to regain its human face. We strongly oppose the TPP and we say this neoliberal ideology must stop and we will not support any deal that supports it. We put New Zealanders first, not the corporates first. Thanks.
Our next speaker is actually one of my favourites. I've been in and seen him on the Select Committee, Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade Select Committee. This is the Greens, Kennedy Graham. Put your hands together for Kennedy.
Kia ora tātou. I want first, on behalf of the Green Party, to congratulate you all on coming out on a wondrous Wellington Saturday afternoon that we all love so much. This is why we're here. And demonstrating your unwavering democratic commitment against a fundamentally flawed policy by the New Zealand government. If democracy is to mean anything at all in this country, this agreement will collapse. It will not come into force. And I want you to know that as far as we see it in the committee, the game is not over. You look around the world at what is going on in the politics of this game. You look around at what's going on inside the Parliament. This is not over. I don't think it's going to go through. But the reason it will not go through, primarily, is because of the commitment of you, as individuals, as organisations, standing firm against this treaty. I just want to make 3 quick points. I want to critique the substance, I want to look at the procedure, and I want to move on to what I would call a positive alternative vision. On the substance, all of us, have seen and looked at this document, 6,000 pages, well enough to know how flawed it is. It proffers itself as a free trade agreement. It is not a trade agreement, and it is not free. It is a corporate investment finance lawyer's document. That is what it is. And it will be seen for what it is, and it will not get through as a result. There are 2 fundamental flaws in the substance. It puts the dominance of corporates ahead of governments, the dominance of private sector ahead of the public sector, dominance of profit ahead of human well-being. And secondly, it dismisses contemptuously the environment. Either one of those reasons is sufficient to reject this document, and reject it we will. As a result of this, it fails the simplest public interest test, and it will collapse. On the procedure, we look around now and we conclude that the entry into force is by no means certain. The US politics of the TPPA is in chaos. Japan is watching and waiting, apprehensive. On the other side, the New Zealand government, waxing in the glorious legacy of the excessively precious Tim Grosser legacy, has made New Zealand the depository of this flawed document. We literally have been falling over ourselves to be more pious than the trade papacy, and want that document to be registered here and us to be responsible for it, and it is like a miniature in action trying to push this massive decomposing corpse along the road. It is the most unedifying image of New Zealand you could imagine. That's the legacy we have inherited. The successor is talking about a trade refresh. You will see in a few different critical portfolios, new faces, fresh blood, and positive visions, so-called. The trade refresh actually will only really prove effective if it's actually an electoral reset next year, not a passing policy refresh right now. It is time to move on from this corpse of TPPA and look ahead, all of us. Some of the quality, and I have met individuals here just in the last 10 minutes who have reported to the Select Committee, especially on the treaty examination and now again on the domestic legislation. The knowledge, the insight, the informed discussion and the positive contribution they have made does mean that democracy is alive and well in this country, despite everything. Congratulations to you all. So what we will do in the next 6 months, we will together develop a positive alternative trade vision. We will make the agreements, future agreements, subject to the courts of law, not to corporate litigation. And secondly, we will make trade agreements, the substance of the trade agreements, subordinate to climate policy, subordinate to carbon price. Everything in future trade agreements and investment agreements are going to be subject to carbon pricing and climate policy. And we together will develop a positive future trade agreement that we can all be proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kennedy, and hey, thanks again for everyone coming out. I reckon we should just do a quick